I remember back in 2016 when I was a senior at the University of Connecticut. It was my last semester. I was about to graduate. I had a corporate finance job lined up at Mass Mutual, and I thought I had it made. Everything was good. I was enjoying my time, and I thought I was on a successful path. But it wasn't until one day I remember waking up. I was kind of just scrolling through YouTube, and I saw this video that really intrigued me, and it was a video about entrepreneurship by a YouTube influencer named Patrick Bet David from Valuetainment. And this video really struck a chord with me. And I remember it was this video about this guy, Patrick Bet David, talking about how entrepreneurship changed his life and how he feels all kinds of power, freedom, and a lot of success and fulfillment from being an entrepreneur. And I remember in the video, he was driving around in his nice red Ferrari, looking good. And as a young 21-year-old, I was very impressionable. And I remember just thinking, man, this guy sounds like he knows what he's talking about. I don't really know much about entrepreneurship, but whatever this guy has, I want it. I remember later on, after watching that video, I was walking to class, I was walking outside, and I remember just daydreaming, thinking about what it'd be like if I was to be an entrepreneur and being in control in my life, being rich, making a lot of money. And I was super excited about it, and I was super inspired. And for everyone that might know me in real life that might be watching this video, I like to talk a lot about things that I'm really passionate about, and I like to talk and talk. And so that's the next thing I did. I remember I started talking to my boss at the time for the part-time job I was working at school. I remember telling some friends, some family, some other colleagues, and that was probably the biggest mistake that I made, was talking to these people, because more often than not, they really weren't really good responses. And it makes sense, right? Most people aren't entrepreneurs. Most people have regular jobs, and most people would really just respond from what they would do, right? And so these people weren't really necessarily wanting to be entrepreneurs, and so they responded in a way of how they would normally respond. And so it was kind of discouraging, and I remember feeling a bit discouraged about pursuing entrepreneurship, so I completely forgot about it, and I just kept going through school, graduated, and then started working at the corporate finance job at Mass Mutual. And then so I started the job, and I remember just kind of being really excited about it. I was, thought I was going to be this big finance guy and, make a lot of money and make a lot of impact, learn a lot of things, but the job was that job experience in that job was far from what I expected. It was very dull. I was working with people that were a lot older than me, and you can tell that their dreams it was just finished. Their dreams were finished, and it was just felt dull, and it wasn't the excitement and the passion and enthusiasm that I was looking for, compared to when I watched that entrepreneurship video. And so 3 months into that job, I said, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm going to go start an online business. And I didn't really know what I wanted to start, but I knew I wanted to start somewhere. And so where I started was I started at a blog called Now Economics. So I was essentially creating free content around finance and economics, which is what I was accustomed to and what I was passionate about that at the time. Working in corporate finance, graduated with an economics degree, I thought it was the next best step for me to do, and I started creating. And from there, I was really passionate about it. Even when I was tired at the late night hours before work, I would build up this blog, and I started partnering with different other creators within the space and creating some content, and actually started to gain a little bit of traction, and it was really cool. But the next thing that happened was I came across an ad by this guy named Sam Ovens. And for those who don't know who Sam Ovens is, he's kind of like this online business guru type of, he's kind of legendary within the space. And he had this product called consulting.com, where essentially he would teach people how to become consultants and consult in a specific area or a niche online and help you make a lot of money with promises of making tens of thousands to $100,000 a month. And so I thought that this would be the solution to my problems. I'm going to buy this program. It costs around, $2,000. And at the time for me, that was a lot of money. I never spent more than $2,000 in my life. And so I bought the program and went through it. And I was pretty amazed by a lot of the content that was in there. I was really interested. I learned a lot about mindset. I learned a lot about how to structure a business, how to structure an offer, how to market, how to sell. And I learned a lot of things, which was great. However, this program and this business model was engineered to work for Sam and not necessarily for me. And so what I actually did was I kind of scrapped the whole finance and economics, content creation and blogging, and I ended up trying to help financial advisors scale, right? And so for those that may have been familiar with this program, you know that a lot of people end up choosing helping chiropractors scale and get more clients, and dentists and all of these different people, right? Kind of like this social media marketing agency style type of offers. And so that's what he would help people with. And I try to follow the same footprints. And, you know, I didn't really care about financial advisors or helping them get clients. I just was trying to chase the money, and I was following what everybody else was doing within this community. And so I started doing it, and I was trying to apply myself for a few months, and I didn't get any success at all. And so I kind of stopped, and I kind of what they call niche jumped into fitness and performance consulting. And that idea came because I was really heavy into the gym at the time, and a lot of people were asking me on how they can get fit, even some athletes as well. And so I switched that niche and actually started gaining some progress. But the downside was I continued to follow the Sam Ovens philosophy, and are structuring the business in a way that didn't really work for my skills and experience and desires at the time. And so it wasn't really a fun experience for me. You know, for example, I ended up charging way too much. So the typical price point within that program was to charge around $1,000, $2,000 a month. But for the niche that I was in and the experience that I had and where I was starting from, I shouldn't have started at that price. I was trying to force a square into a circle-pegged hole, for instance. And so it wasn't really working. I ended up getting some success, just a little bit, nothing crazy. I ended up making like $1,000, $2,000 a month, which was decent, but it was nothing crazy. I ended up having some good clients. I ended up having a client who was an entrepreneur from DC. I ended up coaching a hurdler from Nigeria who ended up actually getting the world record eventually. So I helped coach her on her performance as well, which was really cool. And I also ended up coaching a few youth athletes as well, and then a few other regular clients, you know, helping with their fitness. And so that was really cool. However, I wasn't making as much progress as I expected, and so I ended up quitting and going back to my job, and ended up switching jobs and just going back to, you know, the corporate world and doing that. And so I ended up jumping a new job and started thinking, okay, well, you know, maybe I'm just a corporate America guy. Maybe I should just rise up in corporate finance, get an MBA, and become, you know, a good corporate man. So I kept doing that. I kept continuing through that, and then after a while, I just got fed up, and I got the entrepreneurial itch again. But this time, I was going to create a brand. So I created a brand called Glory, where I created the product that I was selling was supplements. So I ended up getting a business line of credit out and borrowed tens of thousands of dollars to start up this business. You know, ended up working with some manufacturers, creating some, you know, getting the proprietary ingredients and the buying inventory and all this type of stuff. And I started marketing and selling this product, and I ended up getting a few sales, but I was still in the negative. I wasn't profitable, and so I had all this business debt, and I needed to find a way to pay it. And so what I actually did was I changed to a service-based model, where I ended up doing fitness coaching, just general fitness coaching, helping people build muscle, lose fat, and build an aesthetic physique. And so that was my new goal. And I ended up hiring a new mentor, a more expensive mentor, so it cost around like $8,000, but it was from someone named Brandon Carter, who has this program called High Ticket Trainer. And I actually had been following him for years, almost a decade. And he actually helped me get into really good shape myself. And he actually started helping fitness coaches make money online. And so that's why I invested in his program. I already built up that trust. But I ended up following down that rabbit hole again of listening to a guru and following the model that worked for them, but not necessarily following the model that worked for me. And I actually started getting some success. This time, I think I did a lot better in terms of sticking with a business model. And I did the business model for about 2 years. Ended up getting to 3K months. I had a 5K month, and then also even a 10K month, and started getting a lot of traction. And then even started making a lot of traction on social media. I ended up getting 10K IG followers, which was good. It helped my business, but the bad thing is I ended up started chasing the metrics and the algorithm, and I started changing my content to being more valuable and informational in terms of helping their health and fitness, to more so something self-indulgent, where I started acting as if I was some sort of fitness model and almost creating these thirst trap type of Instagram posts, where I started attracting a new audience of thirsty men and women that essentially just wanted to bang me and found me attractive. And so instead of attracting my ideal target client, I ended up started attracting people that were more so romantically interested in me. These people weren't interested in buying my services. They were interested in trying to date me or whatever they wanted to do. And so that was the issue. And so I kept chasing the algorithm, chasing these metrics. And then the worst thing that happened was I got hit up by a agency where they were trying to bring people onto this dating show called Too Hot to Handle. And I ended up auditioning, and I got really far out, and they actually flew me to Turks and Caicos to participate in their final round of casting. And in order to do that, I had to get rid of all of my clients, because in order to be on the show, I would have had to be out of commission for about 3 or 4 months without a phone. And so I quit my job, or I quit my finance job, and I lost all of my clients, lost all that income. And then the crazy thing is I didn't actually end up getting on the show, because the plan was I was going to go on the show, get over 100,000 followers, 200,000 followers, and then have that build my business. That was the plan, is to get the fame, get the metrics, and then I would be this famous fitness coach and I would make all this money. But it didn't go according to the plan. And so I ended up having to go back to Boston, where I was living at that time, with $0, zero money saved up. I still had debt left over from the supplement business. I had no clients, I had no job, and I was in a big rut. It wasn't a good situation for me, and I felt kind of depressed and a bit sad, and felt a lot of shame and guilt around that situation. And so yeah, it was kind of crazy. And the good thing about it was I took a lot of time to myself to figure out, okay, what did I really want to do? I didn't want to go down that fitness model route, chasing the Instagram social media metrics, and I wanted to do something different. So I actually ended up becoming a professional within tech sales. I'm able to get remote income and have really good income, so that transformed me. And then now I realize, I do want to continue back into entrepreneurship, but this time play the long game and do something what I call the infinite game, where instead of trying to, do entrepreneurship and do this game around all of these different finite rules, I'm going to go build something that's aligned with me, build something that I'm passionate and interested about, and build a business model that's something I can do for a long period of time and that can actually enjoy the process. And the key here is, if I can just stick into this game for long and not make these short-term decisions, that's when I will win. Because if you understand, business is almost kind of like investing. Success and results compound over time. So the more patient I can be, and the more I can build a business model that's aligned with me, with my personal preferences, my interests, and my strengths, that's when I'm going to get the most success over time, which is where what you see now with this new YouTube channel, me creating YouTube videos again, and creating content about things that I'm passionate about, and trying to be as authentic as I can in terms of the content that I'm creating and the products that I create and everything that I do to try to serve my customers. And so that's where I'm approaching this now. Really, the niche that I'm in now is trying to help people, feel comfortable with their financial lives, help them increase their income through, whether that's through a career or some sort of business, and then also helping them live out a life of abundance. And that's really where I'm coaching at now. And this is something that I'm really passionate about and that I feel like I'm aligned with. So if you're actually interested in that type of coaching, I do have a link down below where we can have a strategy session together to see how we can help you accomplish your goals. But overall, that's really the lessons that I've learned from the entrepreneurial lessons and mistakes I've made trying to make money online. And so the main takeaways is really just try to play this infinite game, build the business around something that you're at least interested and passionate about. People feel that that emotion of passion and enthusiasm for what you're doing, and especially if you're doing it in a business model that's aligned to you and you can stick to pretty much forever, playing that infinite game, that's when you can stick to that business model. The results will compound for yourself, and you're playing that infinite game, and things just start working for you. You just need to get that momentum, get the ball rolling, and then things will start working out. And that's really the strategy that I'm working with right now. So if you found that story interesting and you feel like you were related at all to that story, please give me a like and subscribe. And we're going to talk more about different business models online, my current business strategies and plans, and how I'm going to manage those finances there as well. So it's good seeing you, and we'll talk later.